Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for joining me. I definitely appreciate it. Today we have the Seiko 5 Sports 100 meter automatic field watch, and this is model number SRPG29. And guys, is this the perfect automatic watch? I mean, some people really love this 39 millimeter size. I mean, it's got all the features you need. It's got great build quality. I mean, is this the perfect watch? Let's check this thing out. Alright guys, as usual, we'll get into this thing, but first check out my Amazon shopping channel if you like this or any of the other watches I've reviewed on my channel. I do get a small commission if you buy from my Amazon store, so I definitely appreciate it. Also, make sure you check out my watches for sale playlist for all the latest watches that I'm selling. You can save yourself a ton of money. And if you want to support the channel, check out the description field and you can see how you can do that. All right, here is the new Seiko 5 packaging. A little bit different than the regular blue box everybody's been accustomed to for, gosh, I don't know, 20 years. It looks like this piece of kind of like sheet metal. It's kind of got like a sheet metal texture to it. There you go. Got a little piece of foam in there. Now, interestingly enough, this did not come with a manual. I think that's a mistake. So, see what you do get here. You do get the warranty card. There you go. But it didn't come with a manual. So I'm really, really surprised. All right, let's take it out here. Good looking watch, man. Now I'm going to tell you about this blue sunburst dial here in just a second. This is a little misleading. I don't think it was intentional, obviously, but it's a little misleading because the dial is only that kind of sunburst blue in direct sunlight. And I mean absolute direct sunlight. Any other time, this dial looks almost black. But I've got it under the studio light here, and you can see it's got that little sunburst going on. But in any other time, any indirect light, any type of light, this is going to look almost black or a very, very dark navy blue. So just kind of keep that in mind. Even on their website, well, at least on some websites, I think on the Seiko website, it actually looks really dark blue. But on some other sellers, some other authorized dealers and some gray market folks, they have it looking like this in the picture. But in reality, it looks more like that, honestly. So just kind of keep that in mind. I think it's a really good looking watch, man. I'm not a big field watch guy at all. I just never have been. They don't interest me. As y'all know, I'm a diver guy. I love diver watches. I'm not certified to dive. I've never been diving, but I just like diver style watches and actual divers. I just like their ruggedness, extra water resistance. I've just always liked divers. But this is a very nice watch and a very well-made watch. It feels great in the hand. It's just a really good, again, maybe possibly the perfect automatic watch. I mean, y'all tell me in the comments section what you think. But let's go ahead and go over the 7 specs that you need to know, and I'll put the rest of the stuff down there in the description field for you. So you're looking at a 39.4 millimeter stainless steel case. It's 13.2 millimeters thick. It's 48.1 millimeters lug to lug. Comes on a 20 millimeter stainless steel bracelet. It's water resistant to 100 meters, which is 330 feet. You get the 4R36 movement in it with about a 41-hour power reserve, and you only get a Hardlex crystal on this. Again, check out the description field for all the other stuff. It's windable, it's hackable, it's got LumiBrite. It does weigh 146 grams, so it's got a little bit of heft to it. But man, I like it a lot. I don't know why. I'm not into dress watches or field watches, but man, this feels so good. It's very functional. You've got the 24-hour inner dial there, like an inner chapter ring. I love these applied metal indexes. Absolutely love them. They look really fantastic. They definitely, they're raised. They just look fantastic. I wish Seiko would do this on a lot more watches. It just adds an extra, dimension to the dial because they are definitely raised and applied. I love the cursive automatic text right there. If I remember correctly, that was kind of borrowed from the Seiko Sumo, I believe the first gen. That's how I remember seeing this automatic text right there. You've got a nice bezel, white bezel around the day and date window. Again, I wish Seiko would do that with a lot more watches. I mean, this really is a tool field watch. That's what this thing is meant for. I love it. I absolutely love it. And interestingly enough, as part of the Seiko 5 blueprint for all Seiko 5 watches, the crown is supposed to be at 4 o'clock, but as you can see, it's over here at 3 o'clock. I thought that was worth noting because on every other Seiko 5 watch you're going to see, that crown is going to be down there at 4 o'clock. But as you can see, it's up here at 3. Of course, it's not a screw down crown. It's got great grip to it, fantastic grip to it, nice winding action. It's just a fantastic looking watch. You've got like a simple bezel here. Obviously not a fluted bezel, just a simple plain bezel. You got some polished sides. Let's see what else. On both sides, you got mostly brushed surfaces just about everywhere. The crown is not signed, as you can see. But man, fantastic crown. I love this crown. Really, really nice. You can see the silver bezel around the hour and minute hand. You've got that kind of red-orange second hand, the little tip right there. Really, really nice. And I love those indexes. I love how they did those metal applied indexes. And again, this starburst that you're looking at, that's only in direct light. So please keep that in mind. They also have a black face version of this, and they look almost identical when they're right next to each other. So just kind of keep that in mind. So what else I want to tell you? Bracelet, really nice, simple. I mean, you know, what do you expect? Of course, you're not going to get a milled clasp. You're just going to get a stamped metal clasp. I don't know why Seiko doesn't do more of these milled clasps, but you know, it's not a big deal to me. But some people, it just drives some people nuts. I can see why, especially when you get up into like the $500 to $600 range for some of these Seikos. I really do expect a milled clasp. You got Seiko on the buckle there. And actually, while I have this thing open, let me show you the case back. Nice case back. They're putting everything on the periphery of the case back. As you can see, this one's made in Japan, 4R36 movement. Right there, made in Japan. You know, I said this on my last review. I've actually had like 4 or 5 Seiko reviews in a row. It just worked out that way. Some people prefer the made in Japan versions of Seikos. I mean, all of these watches, whether they're made in Japan or they're made in Malaysia, are made in, you know, Seiko-owned factories with Seiko management, Seiko quality, you know, control, all of that Japanese Seiko goodness, whether they're made in Malaysia or actually made in Japan, they're all going to be fantastic watches. I mean, I wouldn't say all, most of them are going to be fantastic watches. So whether you get one that's actually made in Japan or made in Malaysia, again, they're all made in Japanese-owned Seiko factories with Japanese management. So, but some people just love to see that made in Japan text down there, right there. And I gotta admit, I'm one of those people, man. I love the made in Japan stuff. I just think in my mind, there might be a little better quality control, a little more attention to detail. Whether that's true or not, take it with a grain of salt. I have no clue. I just like them made in Japan. And interestingly enough, I was really surprised this one is a made in Japan version because these are kind of hard to find. Everywhere else you go, except for Seiko's site, they're all the international versions, which have the K on the end. So, you know, it's really interesting how they, you know, you can get some of these JDM watches here in the United States. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So, you know, if you want to get the made in Japan version, it's actually on the Seiko site. And most of those Seiko watches are international versions or the USA versions or North America versions. So it's kind of up to you. But on Amazon, I was going to give you the link. On Amazon, this thing's actually sold out. So you're going to have to head on to actual, you know, Seiko's actual site or some other dealer or gray market dealer. And again, you might have a hard time finding the made in Japan version if that's what you want. So good looking watch, man. I'm going to try it on here in just a second. I'm just really impressed with the overall feel of this thing. And I just noticed that it has drilled lugs. Just noticed that right there. It's just a great watch, man. And I got a killer deal on this thing. These are currently $275 everywhere you go. But when I got mine on Amazon, it was only about $200. I don't know what happened. Somebody dropped the price. I don't know what happened. But you know, instead of getting it for retail, which is $275, I got it for literally like $208, something like that. So I got a great deal on this thing. And of course, they might come down in price down the road. to that $200 mark. But right now, everywhere I'm looking, they're at least 250, 260, but most of them, they're asking retail, which is 275. So again, guys, is this the perfect watch? You tell me. I'm getting a little more accustomed to and actually liking the smaller case sizes. For me, the sweet spot is between about 40 and 42 millimeters is my sweet spot for my case sizes, for my size wrist. And I think I have, and I'll have to check, thousands of you guys have asked me what my wrist size is. I've just never checked. I don't know why. I don't know what my wrist size is. I think it's like a 7.5. But I'll actually measure my wrist. I promise I'll measure my wrist and I'll let you know what my wrist size is, because so many of y'all ask that, and I apologize. I've just never actually measured my wrist. So anyway, if y'all want to get one of these, again, you're going to have to check out either Seiko's website or you're going to have to check out another dealer. And another thing I want to tell y'all, now this is actually the perfect size between the SNK809, which has a 37 millimeter case, and the SNZG15's 42 millimeter case. And I actually did a comparison review of those two watches 5 years ago, and it's my most successful video yet, with about 245,000 views and over 2,300 comments. So that review is by far my most successful and most watched review. I'll make sure to put a link to that video, to that review, in the description field. I just thought it was interesting to let y'all know this really is kind of in between those sizes, and I think this thing is going to sell like absolute crazy. So check out that review when you get a chance. Let me go ahead and try this thing on. Man, this thing feels so well made. And I really am getting used to these smaller. Yeah, it's a little big on me, actually. I'd have to adjust it. But, I mean, look at that, man. God, this 39, you can almost say 40. This size it's just nice. And it's still big enough to read the hands. The dial's still big enough to read the hands. Let's check out the Lume. All right. Check out the Lume on this thing. All right. There you go. Good old LumiBrite. I would have preferred them to make these indexes just a little bit bigger, at least the portion where they fill it in with Lume. Maybe make those little dots just a tad bit bigger beside each index. Or even, of course, they can't do that with the metal, with the actual indexes themselves being, metal and applied. But if they could find some way to maybe make those Lume pips just a little bit bigger. Hands are fine. Second hand is fine. So, of course, it's LumiBrite. It's gonna stay lit for a very long time. So, guys, tell me what you think of this watch. Tell me if you think it might be the perfect automatic watch. I think it's definitely a contender. Price-wise, fantastic. Build quality, fantastic. Functionality, fantastic. Great crown, decent bracelet. Man, I love this thing. I really, really do. Again, I would put a link, to the description field for this thing, but it's sold out, so check some other dealers. And guys, as always, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you click that notification bell if you like my content. And I really hope you do. I work hard on these videos, and I hope it shows, and I hope you like it. And if you do like it, again, like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next review. Take care. Bye-bye.